What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Neighborhood, or should I say a quarantine day in the neighborhood. And yeah, if you're like me and everybody else in the world right now, you're probably at home and you're looking for things to do or content to watch. And I was actually approached by a friend of mine. His name is Lucas Culshaw. He is a film director and a concept artist, and in a little bit, I'll provide a link where you guys can check out some of his work. But without further ado, Mr. Lucas, how are you today?
Good. Happy Friday. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you for coming. Yeah, for stopping by. How's
Nowhere else to
it?
be.
Say what?
I said I got nowhere else to be.
Exactly, exactly, man. So, how is it like being a filmmaker and a concept artist during this time?
Well, it's given me a lot of time to work on editing the feature film I'm working on, but sometimes it's tough trying to put a schedule to that. It's these days they should be feeling normal, but they're not. So yeah, so it's, but I do other things to keep myself busy. I just do that thing called chase the fun. So if I'm not quite feeling it, I'll do something a little bit more productive that feel like I could be into more than just the other things. I think once you have obligations, it's weirdly you just can't quite get into them. Fortunately, though, I have my day job, and that's been pretty much like a nice structure, for me. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about this this film, because I know you've been working on it for a very long time. I think it's Continue 987. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's about a guy who kind of at a turning point in his career where it's taking off, and he gets hit with a tragedy, and he kind of has to find out how to get his creative bug back and grieve at the same time. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, deals with depression, but it's just I don't know, just a different point of view of male masculinity in a weird way. I think it's try to be as honest as emotions you deal with in depression, and or just having a creative block, and the distractions you have and how you cope with that, and maybe not in the best ways. I think there's a lot of our lead character goes through a lot of stumbling blocks, but hopefully he comes out the other end a better person. So.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully he does, and I'm sure we'll find out once we see the movie. Whenever things get back and up and running, we'll get a chance to see that.
Yeah, and it's we're there. It's post-production always kind of takes a long time especially for an indie movie. And then there's other things that makes it a little bit more challenging, as animated sequences and some visual effects shots that need to be polished, I think. And and then you're just just editing a movie is it's quite a daunting task. You learn a lot of things by the time you get to the end of the cut, and then you go back and then you relearn and kind of rework stuff and move things around. So it's always something kind of moving around. It's almost like a living puzzle, So it can go away. It can go together many ways, but some ways aren't the best as the other. But you're trying to find out what the picture is kind of towards it. You have an idea where you're going, but sometimes that changes. There's performances wise, can change intention of a scene or just the structure of it. So you're just kind of always playing with it, just moving things around. I don't know. And it's how you feel. Then it's how you feel about it at the end of the day. And then just when you're and then just at the point where you're kind of showing to other people and seeing how they react to it. And you're not trying to really please them, but you're trying to go, oh, I could probably make this more enjoyable for that person. So you're just kind of doing some things, you want your audience to feel rewarded for watching it, at some point, I feel like they didn't waste. I think the people who watch a movie, I think it's bad. I just think they maybe didn't resonate. It felt like it was a little bit of a waste of their time. So I don't know. I don't think any movie's really bad. Besides, there are some stinkers, but it's usually a lot of taste. It's just mostly taste usually. I mean, because like you got a dog, ugly. It's like having an ugly dog. Someone still loves that ugly dog, no matter what. So, but hopefully I can win at least a talent show here and there with him.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I have seen some of the footage. I remember when we went to go see the Return of Superman. You showed me a clip on your phone, and I just thought the cinematography it was so rich and was so beautiful, and I mean, I was really impressed. I mean, your work's great. I mean, I love the Amazing Mr. Moji. That's how I found you in the first place. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty movie. I mean, sometimes you gotta I export it out at a pretty low res just to be able to pass it on to my producers and that to get notes. But I still think it looks pretty, and then just sometimes doing a little a rough color pass. You go, oh, this is actually it looks and feels like a movie. It just needs to have all that other stuff to go along with it. And I think that's the challenge of it. And there's my dogs out having an adventure outside. So.
Very cool. Yeah, one of the things that you touched upon that actually really resonated with me, and actually it piques my interest even more with the movie. You talked a lot about masculinity and depression, and I resonate with that, and I think that a lot of men will probably resonate with too, because we're in this social media age where people, and I'm totally guilty of this. I mean, I'm a millennial, and I've experimented and I've gone through different routes, but I think there's this pressure or this expectation that you have to put on a front being a guy, and that's one layer, and then there's another layer of, well, you can't show the world that you're flawed or you're vulnerable either, so that is something that, I mean, just that alone already makes you go, I want to see that.
Yeah. I kind of joke every once in a while with my wife that emojis are probably the first time a man's been able to display a gamut of emotions and be socially acceptable.
Yeah.
I can give a face on my phone and no one gives you shit for it.
Yeah. Totally, man. Totally, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's there's I have a bunch of views. I don't think men have actually had a cultural revolution like women have in the 60s and 70s. I think we're still all trying to figure out. We're all put into a world that maybe isn't constructed the right way for men. I mean, we are kind of, I don't know, it's probably too deep.
No, man, good. Hey,
but yeah, I don't know. I don't think, I think there's the whole spectrum of masculinity. I mean, I grew up with hardworking dad, a construction worker. I mean, we hunted, we fished, I worked on a farm and did all, changed engines and transmissions and did all that stuff like a man's supposed to do. But then I'm I like art, and I like crying at movies. I like just kind of being able to have emotions. I think the first thing you're told when you're a child is, and you're a boy, you cry and you're like, don't be such a baby, you're just ashamed. I don't think I my whole life I only saw my dad cry once, and that was at his father's funeral, and I think always thinks that's a shame.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I can relate to that because, I mean, same thing too, with my dad. My dad, I think if I remember, I think you're from Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my father, he's from Indiana, and yeah, I love my dad. He's a very manly man, but he's also one of those guys where I've actually never seen my father cry, and I've seen him choke up a little bit, and I've seen him get a little watery, but I've never seen him break down and cry. Of course, he's seen me cry because he's my dad, but I've never seen that, and I think that has to do a little bit of that whole machismo type of thing, a little macho thing. So, I mean, it is what it is, But I mean, I think at the end of the day, every person is their own person, and they find their own path, and I think that's actually part of the journey of life is just discovering who you are and being okay with that and pushing through that no matter what comes across your path. I think that's
Yeah, I mean, you should. I agree, but at the end of the day, you should always strive to be the best version of yourself.
yeah,
Like no matter like as an artist, I can never be like my favorite artist. I can never be that person. All I can like, as much as I want to work and look at all these other people and go, oh, I wish I could draw like that. Only I can draw the way I can draw, and there's gets to a point where you go, oh yeah, I realize that. So I try to like, just draw on yourself and be the best in anything that you do. So
yeah,
it's all trial and error. No, there's no rule book for anything, but just at least I think with like social media and like the internet opening up the world, we can kind of see like the different facets of like being a person and like, oh, okay, I don't need to be that. I can be that. I like that path better than this one. This one didn't really do me any favors. I'll be with that. So
yeah,
oh, cool. So
yeah. Definitely trial and error for sure. Definitely. So as far as filmmaking goes, I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but what was uh, what was the movie that you saw that made you like want to get into that?
I think there's a little bit of me that would be like, oh yeah, Star Wars, but it wasn't Star Wars. It was like Clash of the Titans,
Okay.
and that when I was younger, that's what made me like really love movies. It was like the Ray Harryhausen stop motion like movies, and like just the fun of movies, like escapism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I think but then what really kind of pushed me into wanting me to be a filmmaker was oddly the movie Stir Up Echoes, because they had a great DVD commentary from the director, and he just talked about how he like framed shots and stuff and things I never really heard of, and I was like, oh yeah, my God, there's like a skill and a craft to that. I think that's the kind of appealed to me, that there was something that you could like really put your uh, like your signature on like certain things, and then you see all these different directors, like Spike Lee has a certain signature camera movie does, like Hitchcock has like master suspense. There's like so many different directors in the world doing their own little different thing, and I thought that was kind of cool. And so I was like, then I'm just falling in love with, and Guillermo del Toro came along and all his commentaries, and go, wow, that's even more an artist. He was an artist. I think that's what really drove me to him, is that he was, I watched some talk show. I don't know which one it was, but had him bring out his like sketchbook, and I was like, oh, that's rad. It's very cool. So I was like, I could do that. I wanted to be a storyboard artist. I think I went to school to draw comic books at the Joe Kubert School, but like the movie stuff was always kind of more appealing to me. And so, yeah, it's fun stuff. It's challenging, but it's fun.
Yeah, definitely fun stuff for sure. As far as comic books, is there a character that you like? Let's say you're in the comic book shop. Is there a character that you always like look for, that just to see like what's going on with them today, or the history of it, or
Yeah, I'm just always an X-Men fan. Always
yeah,
an X-Men fan.
yeah,
I got a lot. I got a lot of love for. It was younger. It was Wolverine. I
yeah,
got a lot. I got a lot of love for Scott Summers, though.
yeah,
He is absolutely hated on by comic book people, but he's one of those characters. Once you write him right, like Hickman's doing right now in his run, it's just great.
yeah.
So
I've been hearing like nothing but good things about the new X-Men series. I actually do want to check that out, and I do like Cyclops too. I want to see him hopefully in the next incarnation of X-Men movies. I want to see him at the forefront as the leader. I want to see him take charge. Like I want to see him be the Boy Scout. So
I wish they would have gave James Marsden his own little movie. That'd been great. He was great. He's great. He just didn't have a chance to shine. I love those movies. Are just have those X-Men movies be made today in this atmosphere. The '90s was such a different time for superhero movies. They're like clunky and kind of messy, and no one really knew what to do with them, you know,
Yeah.
besides an origin story. And now it's like you can kind of like, oh, it's like just turn them into giant soap operas, you know, on the screen. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. 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 It's just we're at an interesting point in terms of superhero films, just because I mean we have now. I mean you could go as far back to the 30s with it, but and definitely like with the 70s with Superman, and but I mean like the last 20 years, I mean that's pretty much been the dominating force of um, of box office, you know. So I guess if you're making a superhero movie today, how do you make one, you know? And as I love what Marvel did in terms of raising the standard and showing that, but with everything that Marvel has done, I at my core I 100% believe that it can be topped in terms of aesthetics and visual, because I think they're great, but it's just the like the costumes, like they all look like it's they're like they belong on the same team. I mean, I would love to see, you know, something. I would love to see each one just drastically different that complements one another. But that's just me, you know.
Yeah, I know. I think like it's everything. You know, I always like everything's gonna be built off of. I mean, it's just superhero movies are just the new cowboy movies, and then the new sci-fi space movies. You know, it's just there's always like these little like kind of like things movies move into that everyone kind of is drawn to. You know, and superhero movies are right now, and I'm just enjoying them while they're here. You know, I don't think they're gonna go away. They're just gonna evolve, be something different. You know. I think there'll be a point where it'll just kind of slowly fade out, you know, Disney stuff, and then they'll just get rebooted 10 years from now or something like that, and then you'll enjoy them all over again, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that one conclusion that I've made for myself recently is if you don't like what's out now, if it's been done before, at least you have those movies that came out before, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a hard pill to swallow, you know, because I know that there's a lot of people that love Batman and they didn't like what happened with Batman prior. But you have Michael Keaton Batman if you like that. You have Christian Bale Batman if you like that. You have I know you like Val Kilmer Batman Forever. So.
Nah, he was all right. He wasn't I love that movie though. I love that movie. It's hard to like go into a movie now. It's just so good. I mean, it's just like there's so much money put into them. It's hard to make, like, just enjoyable at the end of the day. Like, how can you not just watch any of these superhero movies and have a good time? You know, like there's always going to be hate. Like people always resist change, and you know everyone's always kind of stuck in their little idea of what it should be, but they don't ever let it like what it can be, you know, just enjoy it, something different. I don't know. I kind of like stay out of the conversations of Twitter of hating stuff, you know. It's hard to hate a movie for me. I have like, yeah, some like are a little less or some are more, but you know, it's a lot of work to make a movie where it is. I think most of the times what comes with people, I think it's bad movies more so like they're disappointed in the movie. You know, they had expectation or it just didn't reach potential. I mean, I grew up watching the Vikings football. They never made to this, you know, they never won a Super Bowl, and you're always just disappointed in them every time, you know, but I still love it, you know. So
Yeah, yeah. I think as the more that you as a creator get involved with the creative process, I think it gets harder to actually, like what you said, like hate on people that, you know, that have that conversation. And I actually used to watch a lot of YouTubers talking about speculation. Oh, what's going to happen with this? Or I hate this, I hate this, I hate that. And up until very recently, I started to turn that off because it's like they're not creating, they're not doing it, they don't know the process. And I think when you're actually doing it as an artist, you have a lot of understanding and you have a lot of compassion and you have a lot of empathy for those that are actually in the trenches making that sort of thing.
yeah, and I don't know. It's easy to like say those things. It's easy just to throw that out there, you know. Just I don't know. then just, I don't know, just take ownership. I think what I mean is just take ownership. If you don't like it, like, don't say this movie was bad. Just say I didn't like it, and that's, I think that puts it on you. Maybe I think that's why people shy away from it, because they don't want to take the responsibility of that, saying that I don't like something, and that's okay to not like something. It's okay. It's like, but I don't know. I was listening to somebody who goes, no one wants to like. They said no one wants something to be bad. No one ever wants it to be bad. They don't want to go in a movie and go, I'm hoping this movie sucks. They want to go in a movie and go, wow, this is great. I think everyone's scared it's going to be bad. I think when they go and like see those, let's say a Harley Quinn movie that was just everyone just hated on, and it was a great. I love that movie. I had so much fun in it, you know. And then you talk to people who didn't really like it, and you're like, okay, I see your point, but yeah, not going to stop me from still enjoying it, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I did like the Harley Quinn movie too. I went in with the bar very low, but I came out of that going, that was fun. But the fight sequences were,
Yeah,
I dug it.
Yeah. These movies today is going to be so hard not to not like something. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the Onward movie. You know, I was like, I think it had a few missing things for me. Just didn't resonate. But that pixie scene, I think I watched that like 3 or 4 times. That pixie duster scene with the little pixies on the motorcycle. I love that sequence. It was amazingly done, and it's hard to like hate on the movie. It's just so well done today. It's so many people who are just like top of their skill level combined, you know, all working together to make something really cool, you know, and then people are crying at the movie, just enjoying the hell out of it, and that's great. I don't want to take that away from anybody. So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we might be a little bit don't have that much time left, but I think we touched up on quite a bit of things. I'm just mindful of the timer, but
I think we got 5 minutes left, right? Something like that.
I think we got about 5 minutes left. Where can people find you, and what can people expect from you after everything gets up and running? And
don't find me. Just keep away from my social media. It's fine. I think that's the scary thing is like social media. Like before, I was like Wilson, Crystal, my wife. She's always like, "It's your Wilson." Like you're on the island, you're just talking to your beach ball. Then you forget that everyone else is listening in. You're like, so, like I'm actively change my behavior on Twitter of just being like saying stupid shit. And you're like, I should be just a little bit more mindful nowadays and just be a little bit. That's always say I don't talk about stuff I don't like. I always talk about stuff I like. You know, so. And just keep it that way. It's, you know, pretty safe on there. And then like for my Instagram, it's just Lucas Culshaw, and I just, you know, draw a bunch of doodles all the time. It's just my living sketchbook that I just post stuff all day. It's half finished ideas, things in progress. It's nothing it's not a professional online portfolio. It's just to be like, hey, I drew a fucking cyclops with a hand covering his dick, you know, that's attached to his body, you know, like, so I just, like, just stupid shit, you know. You're like, okay, I just want to throw that out in the world. Everyone's like, okay, head scratches their head, and I get a chuckle out of that. But it's just like stupid stuff that I just like have fun with. But yeah, sometimes I draw some weird shit. You know, it's usually just me letting like free association on my iPad and just like let my hand go where it wants to go, and stuff like happens. So.
Yeah, your art is amazing. I do like your art. It's really cool. I'm like, oh man, that's pretty dope. Because it's just very different. It's its own frequency, and there's a lot of layers to it, and I think it's pretty cool. As far as like fellow artists out there, like that are in the quarantine right now, do you have any advice to keep their mind like occupied, or do you have like any advice for filmmakers that
I don't know. It's like. It's tough to be like, hey, keep a schedule, everything more like, I don't know. It's time, like, it's a little bit time to like fuck off and not have not like put so much pressure on yourself.
Right,
like, right. You know, like you can catch a cold and just like have a bad couple of weeks, you know? And so like, why would you want to waste it stressing yourself out about a deadline? Tend to do, but if it takes you, like if you're like, oh, I like to work on this today and it's fun, go for it. But yeah, I think like if you just want to have like maybe just have like one project you kind of noodle on, or multiple ones that you're noodling on that are taking taking the journey. So when your like brain's in a better mindset, you can kind of go and finish it. Yeah, I don't know, it's tough. Like just getting in there and just wanting to do like something. It's just tough, especially for someone else. It's just tough to do stuff for someone else right now. I'm feeling, you know. So I just kind of do my thing and mess around and try to just like just work on little things I want to improve on, and I don't know, just stay healthy, be mentally healthy, take breaks, watch a couple TV shows you wanted to watch, binge that shit, play Animal Crossing. I'm playing the hell out of that. So zen. It's like a living zen garden. You just kind of like go and just wander around the town. But I like watching people play video games more than playing video games sometimes. So like my wife plays and I'm just like chilling out. It's fun. So yeah, just keep mentally healthy. It's more important than trying to hit a deadline. So
Very cool, man. Well, I just want to say thank you very much for doing this with me, Lucas. I really do appreciate
yeah, it was
talent.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll probably do this again in the future or so. And yeah, I think we're all set. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later.